Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show. I can't think of anybody more appropriate to be talking to on a Friday than a happiness expert. He's the CEO of Live Happy. He's been with us before on our show. Kym Yancey joins us on the Gary Sutton Show. Kym, nothing like having a happy guy be in here on a Friday, right?
I think that's the appropriate thing, Friday. Have a happy guy on the line.
Oh, there you go. And so we got Kym Yancey on the line. So, before you get into this poll, Kym, the CEO of Live Happy, what do you guys do at Live Happy?
First of all, we are the greatest resource you can find for authentic, scientific-based information on what happiness really is. And so we're really teachers, educators. We bring together the top positive psychologists in the world and share their information in a lifestyle way, in a how does this apply to my life in a daily way. That's what we do. We've got an award-winning magazine called Live Happy. You can get all over the world. It's digital and it's physical. It's on newsstands, and people subscribe to it. So that's what we do. We're constantly looking for ways to elevate the happiness on the planet.
So, what is happiness? When people think about what happiness is, how would you define that?
Well, first of all, everybody has their own definition of what brings them personal happiness. However, there are some key things, because remember, our role is to help you expand your fullest expression of what happiness means to you. But, personally, I happen to love the Greek's definition of happiness, and that is the joy you feel striving toward your potential. So, the movie, Pursuit of Happiness,
right.
It's a great title, but really it's truly what it really is, and what you want to have in your life is happiness in the pursuit, not the pursuit of happiness. Because what that means, the pursuit of happiness really implies that the prize, what I call the happiness prize, is at the end of the rainbow, right? It's just the opposite. It's the gift at the beginning. So, once you learn and if you're able to tap into, and I've got to tell you, we're not taught this in school. I wasn't taught this in school. You weren't taught this in school. No one talked to you about happiness. There's a good friend of mine who said, really, happiness is almost like what Rodney Dangerfield used to talk about, the fact that he could get no respect. Well, happiness is considered for so many people a fluff thing. Oh, you're not happy? Well, that's too bad. Get back to work. What they don't understand is when you get back to work with a happy, positive brain, positive emotions, you're going to be 3 times more creative. You're going to take off less days. You're going to outperform other people when it comes to sales by 37%. You're going to have 31% more productivity, 39% better health. I mean, this is no joke.
It's interesting because I'm sitting here listening to you, and people always ask me about, do you ever get tired of what you do? And I said, no. And I said, why? I said, because I never go to work. I go to opportunity every day. I enjoy what I do. I have satisfaction in what I do. There's always more to do tomorrow and a better way to do it. To me, that's part of the happiness that I have in my life. I mean, I think that's a good way to go, isn't it?
Bravo to you. First of all, you're in line with your purpose. You're in line with your calling. See, that's a scary word for a lot of people. When you say to them, are you living your calling? Are you living a purposeful life? In other words, do you feel excited when you get out of bed in the morning? Are you excited about what's ahead for you? Are you looking forward to what's getting ready to happen in your life? You're in alignment with your purpose. So that's the first thing, because that alone is going to create positive emotions in you. And positive emotions are a big deal.
I often hear people say, well, I got to go to work today, or it's Monday. And I always go, yeah, it's Monday. I mean, it's like, every day is like Friday's Eve again. I mean, I get excited about every day. And I start to think, I have people that call me a rookie every now and then. A good friend used to call me Rook all the time because he said, you act like you were when you were 21, you got your first job. I said, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't that be an exciting time for you, even as you get later in life here? And then, I have a wonderful wife. I leave home in the morning happy. I come home at night to see her. I'm happy again. We do things together. I mean, the whole thing is just, and people want to slap you sometimes because you're this happy person for the most part.
And you're right, and don't let anyone get in your way. Don't let anyone stop you from that, because what you're doing is you're really embodying what happiness is all about. So you've seized the moment, and anyone who's in this position where they feel like you do, they're seizing the moment, and they're grabbing happiness now. And what you know is that this happiness makes everything throughout your day better. It makes everything that you touch better. It this creates much greater social interaction and reaction to people as people engage with you. See, these are the things. See, what you're describing, you've got the pot of gold now. That's what I want you to hear. That's what's most important. You've got the pot of gold now. Everything else is just bonus, and it's stuff for you to be grateful for. You know, I got to tell you, one of the greatest things in the world of happiness, and this is all science, is the first thing is to be grateful. If you don't have the ability to be grateful for what you've got, when you get what you want, you won't be grateful then. It will not last. It will be fleeting, and in 6 months, you'll be back setting a whole new goalpost because what you've experienced is this happiness isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I tell you, there's a lot of us. The things in your life won't bring you the happiness that you think they'll bring. Are they nice? Are they comfortable? They won't bring you that lasting happiness. It's those experiences, and it's those things that bring deep meaning. And I got to tell you, and you've heard this, you get on your deathbed, and someone's, you're not going to be saying, bring my jewels.
Right,
bring my jewels. Hey, bring my car. Get my car here in this room.
Pack my money in around me, yeah.
Yeah, right. Those relationships, those people that really matter to you. And that's what's so interesting about this study on well-being around the country. That Alaska was first. By the way, Pennsylvania comes in at 35.
Yeah, geez, we got to work a little harder here. What were the components here in looking at what well-being is?
Well, well-being is, first of all, there are 5 principles that are the foundation of well-being. One is purpose, liking what you do each day and being motivated to achieve your goals. That's number 1. Number 2 is social, having supportive relationships and love in your life. You don't want to be a loner, okay? Number 3 is financial, managing your economic life to reduce stress and increase security in your life. Number 4 is community, liking where you live, feeling safe and having pride in your community. And number 5 is physical, having good health and enough energy to get things done daily. Those are the 5 tenets to well-being and what's measured. And over 2.1 million people were surveyed to come up, to get these answers. And it's in Pennsylvania when the survey was done. This is what the community, this is what people through the surveys, but they ranked themselves about how they thought on purpose. So they feel, for example, liking what they do each day and being motivated to achieve. Against everyone else in the country, Pennsylvania residents came in at 42%.
Wow. So we're not a real happy people right now here in Pennsylvania.
Well, you're not the worst.
See, you took that and you made it into a positive.
West Virginia and Kentucky at the bottom.
I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about the 2 at the top. You got Alaska's first and Hawaii is second. Now, what I thought was really interesting is there are 2 states right there that are not part of the contiguous United States.
Right.
I mean, they sit by themselves. So what does that say to us about well-being?
Well, first of all, the first thing it says to you that in Alaska and Hawaii, you have a high level of gratitude. Now, what this means is, now apply this to the notion of purpose, liking what you do each day and being motivated to achieve your goals. In other words, having gratitude. This is not about, I've got $1 million job or this I'm working in the field. This is about how you feel about your day and how you feel about what you're about to do and the difference that you make. So, isn't it interesting? I mean, Hawaii and Alaska, what could be more opposite than a tropical paradise?
Exactly.
Alaska was so much cold, and you get those nights that go on forever. So it just speaks to how what they're doing brings meaning to their life.
Well, here's another thought, though, too. You talk about 2.1 million people taking part in this poll, which is a pretty significant number.
Oh, yeah.
So you say, okay, well, here are 2 states that probably have the least amount of people in them, with Hawaii and Alaska. So is that, did they find all the happy people in those 2 places right there by accident, and that polled out like that?
That didn't come out in the study, but that's an interesting point that you bring up. And, a closer community, a tighter-knit community,
there's a good point.
Better social connectedness, because notice too, these 2 states also were scored high in social connectedness. Even though Hawaii dipped a little bit down to 28, Alaska is 7. But community, they're both 3 and 5. In other words, Alaska was 3, and Hawaii is 5. And community, of course, meaning liking where you live, feeling safe, and having pride in your community. So, when you look at these numbers, they're pretty high across the board. Physical, outside. Most people exercise. I don't want to say it's bad to exercise for vanity, and most of us do that. We want to be in a smaller dress or smaller pant size for men. But the fact of the matter is, the number one reason to exercise is the immediate boost it gives to your mood, the dopamine, the serotonin that rushes into your body.
Yep.
So it has immediate effects in terms, as opposed to the 6 weeks, 8 weeks out results that you're looking for through vanity.
We're talking with Kym Yancey, happiness expert, CEO of Live Happy, and has no problem with the serotonin in his body right now at all. I looked at the next 3 down the list, and what you said might apply here as well. South Dakota was 3, right. Wyoming was 4, Montana was 5. And so here again, you have 3, not necessarily the largest population states, and yet maybe tighter-knit communities there because of less people. Is that a fair statement?
That makes a difference. The community, think about the people you're around. Think about the people that you're sharing information with. What kind of conversations are they having? Are they happy? Do they have positive emotions? So, really, look at the people you're hanging around with. Look at what your weekends are like and what you're doing. Again, what kind of conversation is it? And pay attention to the words. You can size up a lot about a person by what kind of verbiage is coming out of their mouth. Are they complimenting people? Are they saying nice things? Are they talking about how great things are as opposed to how awful things are? Are they talking about all the things that aren't good going on in our culture versus things that they want to focus on that are good? So all of that matters. All of it.
Something else is interesting. I had a friend who lived here, and he moved out. He was in the service for a while. His name is Joe Decree, and he moved out to Montana with his wife, Erica. And they bought a beautiful place out there. He's working a woodworking business now, but he goes skiing and hiking and walking and doing trails and all that kind of stuff. Does that play into it? Getting out in the wide open, because when you talk about Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, you're talking about the wide open. And then you throw in number 6, 7, and 8. You got Colorado, mountains. You got Nebraska. Okay. You got Utah's 8. New Mexico's 9, and Texas is 10. So I'm starting to think lots of rural area there. I don't know. Does that kind of figure into this at all?
Oh, absolutely. Because, again, think about the things that happiness feeds off of. Even walking in the grass barefoot has a positive scientific effect as it affects your well-being and your connection to Earth and your center and your core and your emotions. So, being in that exercise, being around that sunshine, understand, happiness is contagious. And when you're in a community where everybody or more people are smiling, are upbeat, got a good attitude, they feel energized, I don't want to sound by any means airy-fairy, but you really vibe off that. That creates an energy. That creates these positive emotions, and positive emotions are made up of your cells. The cells in your body regenerate almost, every season, every cell in your body regenerates.
Well, here's another thing, too. You talked about your physical well-being. I'm going through that right now. I've done a lot of changes in life here in the last 5 months, and I'm doing an exercise program just about every day right now. Where I'm in the pool, I'm doing laps. I feel good. I love to get out when it's nice weather. Right now, it's 1 degree here this morning, but I like to get out and do a lot of walking and in neighborhoods and so forth, just to see new neighborhoods. When I go somewhere, I love to walk and see a new place. We can't underestimate what that does, the exercise factor, and keeping that serotonin level up and depression levels down, right?
That's right. The worst thing you could do is to underestimate the power of exercise. And by the way, I want to say to you, a little swimming or walking or biking. By the way, this whole notion of getting in the gym and doing 60 minutes, an hour of grind, that's not necessary. That's great. If you want to do that, do that. What I want you to know is, and this is I would say the most important thing I want to get across is, do the smallest measure you can't say no to. Begin with the smallest measure.
Right.
Maybe that's walking to your mailbox and back and giving yourself a pat on the back. The next day, walk to your neighbor's mailbox. What I'm saying is, start. No amount is too little. And this is not about, and I'm not even speaking to you about, all the different health benefits. I'm talking about this boosting your mood.
Exactly.
And changing your perspective. And you know this. People who do exercise never want to stop. They don't, and they'll tell you it does so much good for my head.
Well, I do it I try to do 30 minutes a day. Now, every now and then I'll miss a day. But you know what? I don't get apoplectic about it, because I say, okay, today it didn't work out, tomorrow it will. And I'll work time in every day for something. I find, and I'm a guy who's suffered from some depression from before, so I'm finding that it really helps your well-being in that regard, that the exercise and also weight loss, for me, in my particular instance, really helped a lot. So, again, for people that are kind of just laying around, and that's one of the things, I guess, that happens, too, when you're in the snow belt like we're in right now and the cold belt like we're in, all of a sudden you're strapped inside and you feel like, where am I going with this? And maybe that's kind of part of the whole well-being thing too, right?
It is part of the whole well-being thing. I'll tell you something else. You mentioned depression. You'd be surprised how many doctors, positive psychologists, professors got into this field because they were going through depression. And they wanted to figure it out. They wanted to figure out what's going on. How can I do this? The other thing you might find surprising is up into the late 90s, all psychology was based on what was wrong with us. It wasn't until the late 90s that positive psychology was born, where the shift was, what's right about us? What are the things that make us work best? Think about that. The decades, of focusing on only what was wrong with us to make that shift. So it's really a 20-year-old, profession, really, where the whole movement into this, and it's unbelievable what's opening up. What we're finding that the impact of positive brain, positive thinking, positive programming has on you scientifically.
Okay, now wherever there's good, there is also not so good.
Oh yeah,
and we got to come back here and look at the bottom 10 of that list and why they are where they are. In your opinion, we're going to come back with Kym Yancey, who's a happiness expert. He is the CEO of Live Happy. I mean, this guy is the guy you want to be talking to on a Friday morning. We will do some more when we come back here on the Gary Sutton Show on News Radio 910 WSBA. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA with Kym Yancey, happiness expert and CEO of Live Happy. And he is with us here on the Gary Sutton Show. And, Kym, we have to go to the bottom 10 now. And so we start at the very bottom here, West Virginia. And, what's happening there? What's going on? I know a lot of coal mines shut down. A lot of people aren't happy about that. Many people out of work, I suppose. But beyond that, what's wrong with their well-being?
Well, I mean, clearly it's across all channels of it, too. Not only getting back to the whole notion of liking what they do each day and being motivated. So low, 50, the lowest in the country, 50, it hits 50 rank versus number one. But then you look at the other areas, social, financial, community, physical. All of them are low. In other words, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
That it's like the negative builds on itself, and that too can be contagious. Isn't it awful, Mary? Isn't it? But no exercise, so the exercise isn't taking place. Feeling safe in the community, that's not there for most, for 38%. 43% on the financial side. Feeling like that they can manage their economic life and reduce stress and increase security. So it's low across the board. If you look at all of these, in fact, the only one that I also found it pretty interesting in Louisiana, which is 40th. So this, as you said, looking at the bottom 10, they were high in purpose. They were high in purpose. In other words, feeling good about what they do each day and being motivated to achieve their goals. But it's really strange that when you go across the board, it gets very low, from 31 to 48 to 34, meaning that in the social area, in a place like New Orleans, you would think that the socialization would be even greater because of Mardi Gras and that whole culture you think of and the fun time down there. But it's actually low. Managing their economic life, very low for them there at 48. Community, feeling safe, that was low. So just like in everyday life, you take someone, you can say, oh gosh, this person is, let's say, a millionaire. But kids don't want to be around them. Neighbors don't want to be around them.
And you know what? What's really interesting? I was looking up 50, going up 49, 48. West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. And then you get, that's kind of regional. And then you get this region, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas. There you go again. And then Missouri and Michigan. So you're looking at some regional stuff there. It seems to be going on as well. About a minute left. Final thoughts.
Yeah, the final thoughts of this is focus on, if you want to change this, you want to change this for yourself, you can't change the whole community. You can change you. You can focus on you, and your change will be the ripple effect to make a difference. So I just want to say to everybody, first of all, this is not about, happiness is not the prize at the end, okay? It's the gift from the beginning. And you deserve it now, and you can have it now, and it will make a difference in everything you do if you choose happiness. And begin with being grateful for what you got. Start praising other people. Start saying good things. Start focusing on the good and not the stuff to tear you down.
I feel better just listening to you this morning, honest to heavens. So, I felt pretty good to start the day here. So I feel like it's about 70 degrees outside right now already.
Hey, I love that. That's what it's all about. And you know what, Gary? That's what people feel when they listen to you, too.
Well, Kym,
that's what you do.
Thank you so much. I look forward to our next time together, my friend.
You
all right?
got it, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Kym Yancey, CEO of Live Happy. And man, does he live out what he's talking about, huh? We're going to put that up on our website at facebook.com/910WSBA for Monday. And so if you get a little sad, go listen to Kym. He'll straighten you out real quick.